What is up, everybody? My name is Aaron Yadgaraf. I am here with Akshay Kumbar. Today, we're going to be talking about the NBA Finals, specifically Game 4, and a little bit about Game 3, what happened last game. How are you doing today, Akshay?
I'm doing great, man. Had a pretty long weekend, but excited for all the I was excited for all the championship events going on that weekend. Really special, really incredible stories going on, and this week has got a lot of great sports as well. So I'm just excited to get into this week of sports and especially the NBA Finals as well.
For sure, the NBA Finals is with us. We ended some great hockey, some soccer this weekend, and now we're on to the final, I guess, and the Wimbledon also. Forgot about that. So we're going to be talking about the Game 4 here. You can see a little bit of Akshay's shirt right there. He's a little bit of a Sun supporter for this. So yeah, let's us kick it off talking about Game 3. During Game 3, the Bucks won 120 to 100 points. Did you see anything in that game that surprised you or made you feel like, oh, the Bucks can actually come back?
Well, it was a lot of the same from game one and game two, where Giannis really put his team on his back. It was exceptional to see. Finally, he got the help that he desperately needed in game one and game two. Drew Holiday stepped up big time. PJ Tucker was great on the defensive end. Chris Middleton had 18 points, but still was a huge impact on the offensive end. So overall, it was a great game from the Bucks. Their bench really stepped up. Pat Connaughton had a really big game off the bench, putting in 30 minutes. So I think, I've said this before, where if Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis all can play great at the same time, it's going to be really hard to stop them. It's in the NBA, especially in today's game, it's really hard to stop three all-star caliber players. So if they can really get it going consistently on every night, they have a really good shot of winning these finals. And we saw just how good they can be in Game 3.
I'm totally with you on that. Shout out to PJ Tucker. Been amazing in both the last two series. Has had to guard Kevin Durant, and now has had to guard Devin Booker. Been doing lights out on defense. I'll talk about a little bit the Suns, how they played in Game 3. Devin Booker shooting 3 for 14, 10 points only is, I guess you could say, despicable from him. It's very, very poor shooting from him, as known to be one of the best scorers in the league. Only shooting 14 shots, where he shot, I think it was 25 shots in Game 2. Maybe it was a difference because he was away. Milwaukee's just much more confident at home, which most players definitely will be. Mm-hmm. But he's got to be shooting the ball much more than 14 times. Ayton and Chris Paul both played decently on the offensive side. 8 for 11 for Ayton with 18 points and 8 for 14 Chris Paul with 19 points. So like Akshay said, you need all three of your star players to be playing well throughout the series. Like that's why the Bucks won. We had Giannis, Middleton, and Drew Holiday all playing well. And the surprise of the game to me was, which I was really happy about, was Giannis shooting 13 for 17 from the free throw line. Maybe it's because he's at home and there's no fans counting from 1 to 10 and that might get in his head or something. But I think that's the most surprising thing. Giannis has his team on his back, and we'll talk about it a little more about the game in the Game 4 preview. But are you shocked by Giannis's free throw abilities and just how great he's playing, I guess you could say?
Well, I'm not really. I'm a little bit shocked just because of how, that injury that he suffered in the Eastern Conference Finals, and the fact that he came back this quickly, and like everybody thought, his season was done. That was an ACL tear, but we were fortunate. It was only a hyperextended left knee. The way he came back, and in his first NBA Finals, he has done exceptional. He has, silenced almost every single doubter and has turned heads for almost everybody in the NBA. Even in Game 2, he shot 11 for 18 at the free throw line, which is 60%. And then, in Game 3, he shot 76%. So, he's starting to get his groove back at the free throw line, which is something that the Bucks really, really need from him because of how much volume he gets at the line. He draws so much attention in the paint, gets a lot of fouls, which is really good for them and for him as well, because that's his strength. That's their strength. They can play off of him doing that. So I think it's incredible how he's played in these first 3 games. And I think he's definitely going to continue that. He's 6'11". There's really only one person on the Suns that can come even remotely close to guarding him, and that's DeAndre Ayton. And we saw in Game 3, DeAndre Ayton got to foul trouble really early in that second half and was nearly, subbed off the court for the entire third quarter and even in parts of the fourth quarter. And we saw the Bucks really run away with the game there. So if Giannis can somehow find Ayton to get into more foul trouble in games 4 and 5 and however long the series goes, the Bucks have a really good shot of winning the series, and I think that he is the best player right now in these finals.
Yeah, I think he's best. You could say he's the best player in the world right now by how great he's playing. And we were mentioning a little bit before the show that you think that Giannis deserves Finals MVP even if the Suns win the series, which is crazy. You can elaborate a little bit more about that. I know you just spoke about it, but yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like, listen, he has played exceptional. He has outplayed almost everybody on any team. Outplayed Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday. He is the guy. He has put every single inch of effort into this finals. He's put his team on his back every single night. He deserves to win Finals MVP regardless of what happens, just because of how important he is to his team and how he has kept his team in this series. The last time a person who lost the NBA Finals but won Finals MVP was the logo himself, Jerry West, in 1970, where he lost in 6 games. So, Giannis has a really good shot of winning Finals MVP. However, I'm not entirely sure he will, though, if the Suns do win, just because of how just because of the storyline Chris Paul has had, and because this is his 16th year, it's his first NBA Finals, and he hasn't really played all of that bad, in my opinion. He had only 19 points in Game 3, but he still had 9 assists, only 4 turnovers. Didn't really shoot the ball well, but Chris Paul still played great, and I think he will continue to play great, and he's definitely the reason why the Suns were up 2-1. Are up 2-1 in this series for sure. But Giannis definitely has been playing, the best basketball of his career in these finals, and he's been the best player on the court regardless. So I really think that he should win Finals MVP, but it's very unlikely, just knowing, the whole storyline of Chris Paul and just how today's NBA works.
I'm totally with you on that. Chris Paul, most people love Chris Paul. He had a little antics on the court in Houston where people weren't loving him, but it's his 16th year. He's playing for a team in the finals. He's got a young player that a lot of people love in Devin Booker, which we're going to talk about now. He's been struggling a little bit last game, at least, only shooting the ball 14 shots, we said. I think it's going to be very hard for him if this is how he's going to play in away games. There's another away game tonight. The Bucks are so good at home. I think it's going to be really hard for him to bounce back in Game 4, but I think he can definitely do it back when they go home. I'll talk about the Game 4 preview in a bit, but I think the Bucks will win the game, as if you guys couldn't already tell by my tone. But what do you think about Devin Booker and about him bouncing back for Game 4?
Yeah, as you said, it might be a bit unlikely just because he's on the road right now. He's in his first ever playoffs, finals, even that. But, even in these playoffs, we've seen that he struggled in Game 3 a lot and really kind of struggled to get back into a groove in Game 4. He had a somewhat decent Game 4 against the Clippers last series where he had 25 points, but he still only shot 36% from the field. So I'm expecting a similar type of game from him today where, he puts up a lot of shots in volume, definitely more than 14 shots. He'll find a way to get to the free throw line a little bit more, but I don't think he'll have a necessarily great game that we expect from him just because of the pressure that he is. He is a young player and he's on the road. So I don't think he'll necessarily have a big Game 4, but I think in Game 5, he'll really step up big time. I think, Monty Williams said in a mid-game interview in Game 3 that, he doesn't really need to, make adjustments for Devin Booker. The shots will fall eventually, and he knows what he needs to do. I think once he gets back into the home arena for the Phoenix Suns, I think once he has that momentum with the fans, he'll find his groove again, and he'll start making shots. But there's also a good shot that he also has a really big game for tonight. It's really 50-50, but I'm leaning more towards the side of him struggling a little bit, just based off of previous Game 4s.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. I think a struggle for Devin Booker is much different from most players. I think I'll do better than the performance he did last game in Game 3 for 3 for 14, maybe like a 7 for 20 or something like that.
Yeah.
But which is a lot of players might not call that struggling, but it's still like shooting almost 40% from the field. But shooting that many shots, I think it's not. But let's talk about the Game 4 now and the previewing of Game 4 now. So we've got the Suns vs. Bucks Game 4 in Milwaukee. The Bucks have won 16 of the last 17 games in Fiserv Forum, which is their arena. and how great they played last game, I don't see them losing this. The biggest thing about the Bucks strengths to me is their offensive rebounding. They grabbed 30.5% of their own missed shots this playoff run, which is incredible. I think the Suns are not known for their height. They're running Jay Crowder at the 4, he's a gritty player, but he's definitely not a rebounding player. Their backup center, Frank Kaminsky, is not known for being a great rebounder. Cam Johnson, their backup 4, is more of a shooter. So it's a little tough for them on the offensive rebounding when they have players like Giannis, Middleton, Brook Lopez sometimes down there too. So I think the Bucks will win this game, and I think the offensive rebounding will be a very, very big, important part of this game. Bucks win probably a game, but I'm going to go with a 10-point win for the Bucks tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna go off what you were saying before with the Bucks and their offensive rebounding. In Game 3, it was midway through the third quarter, and ESPN pulled up a graphic saying that the Bucks had 20 second chance points and the Suns had 0. They had 0 to 20. So, that obviously needs to change, and that really starts with DeAndre Ayton not getting into foul trouble, because he is their main rebounder. If DeAndre Ayton is not on the court, the Suns will struggle to get rebounds regardless. And with a player like Giannis, who's 6'11", has like a 7'6" wingspan, you are not going to get a rebound over him regardless. And he has been playing with a passion, and he will get the ball regardless. He will fight for the rebound. So it's going to be really difficult. We'll see how DeAndre Ayton can stay out of foul trouble and kind of neutralize Giannis on the glass. But I think the Suns will take Game 4 here. I think they've been in this situation before where they won the first 2 games and then they lose at Game 3. They make the right adjustments and they play a little bit better in Game 4. I'm not expecting a huge blowout win like we saw with the Bucks last game. I think it's going to be extremely close again, just like every other game where the Suns have won against the Bucks this year, even including regular season as well. So I'm going to go with the Suns here. I think it's going to be a huge offensive shootout, but I do have the Suns kind of edging it late in the fourth quarter, maybe by 4 or 5 points.
I don't think that's a bad bet. It's just like we mentioned, the DeAndre Ayton foul trouble. If he's in foul trouble, which we know the Bucks will attack him because of how great Giannis did and how much of an impact DeAndre Ayton has on the rebounding side, only getting 11 rebounds, which isn't only, I guess you could say, because he does, or he got 9 rebounds, 9 rebounds last game, which he averages like 11, 12, 13 rebounds a game in these playoffs. So that's going to be a huge part of the game. I can see the Suns winning this game, but Devin Booker is going to need to play well, and with PJ Tucker guarding him, I do not see that great of a game. He only played 29 minutes last game, which might mean Monty Williams was resting him a tiny bit because he only did have 2 personal fouls. Yeah. So we could see with that. But yeah, if Devin Booker is fully healthy and can actually shoot it lights out, they will win this game.
Yeah, for sure. And even outside of those star players, for the Bucks and the Suns, these role players have been stepping up huge for them. Pat Connaughton for the Bucks
for sure
had 8 points on 2 of 4 shooting from 3. Bobby Portis has been playing exceptional these past couple of games. Had 11 points last time. And then on the Suns, Jay Crowder finally found his shot. Shot 6 of 7 from 3 in Game 3. So I think the X factor for today's game and whoever will win, it's really we're going to expect Giannis to drop 30, 35 points. We expect that. We expect the Suns, Devin Booker and Chris Paul to have good games, score double-digit points. But I think the X factor for both of these teams and whoever wins is whoever's role players and bench really steps up big time. We've seen that throughout these playoffs. A lot of people have stepped up due to injuries. And I think that, this goes just even throughout, basketball itself. Whoever could step up in those big moments and help their team win, they have a really good shot of making a lot of money in the future, as well as getting recognition for that, for their success. So it really depends on who's going to step up. I can't really, decide just because of how, inconsistent a lot of people are on the bench. But, I think whoever really has a better game on the bench, the Bucks or Suns, they'll definitely win the game.
I totally can agree with that comment. And then I think one thing that I really like about the Bucks this playoff run is how in the regular season, they were one of the worst 3-point defending teams in the whole league. And throughout this playoffs, they've been improving well. They're the number one they only allow 106.6 0.4 points allowed per 100 possessions, which is the best in the NBA playoffs. So, and then, like we mentioned, the Suns didn't shoot well, 9 for 31, and that's Jake Crowder going 6 for 7. So
Yeah.
him making 66.6% of their threes is not great. And so I think the Bucks have improved immensely, and then just need to slow down, I guess, the role players for 3-point shooting for them. So, yeah, I think that's all we got today, though. So if you guys are new to the YouTube channel, please drop a subscription. We're trying to go all the way up to 1K subs maybe by the end of the summer. That'd be sick if we can. Drop a follow on the Twitch, drop a follow on the like the Facebook, and yeah, we'll see you guys later. Peace out.